Let me go into what I would consider the top 7 chiropractic biggest mistakes in marketing. Now, I'm talking about marketing with the personal injury attorney. These are the top 7 mistakes. Now, you know enough right now to know that when I start talking about this, that they're mistakes. Number 1, competitive gateways. And by the way, I'd actually say number one is you don't pick C attorneys. When you do your target market, you go after B or A attorneys. I'd say that's number 1 right out the block. You're not very good, you don't know very much, and you go outside of your league. You go outside of your league. I'd say that's easily the number 1 mistake. Easily the number 1 mistake. Start with the C attorneys. C attorneys. Low-hanging fruit. Those are the ones, especially when you don't know much. You're not good. You're not good at presenting. You don't know the material real well. That's like I talked to somebody, it may have been your partner. They had a meeting with a big attorney. I think it was this week or next week or something. He called, was that you that I talked to?
Talked to my partner.
His partner. So they have a meeting with a big attorney. I don't know how it happened, but he goes, oh, it's one of the biggest attorneys.
They called us.
Now hang on. They go, we have a meeting with one of the biggest attorneys next week. Now I know what they don't know. Now you've been here, now you know enough of what you didn't know. So what did I say? Continue with the meeting? I said, you better put that on hold, buddy. Because I knew what he didn't know. So guess what happens when he meets with a great opportunity and blows it? How much of a second chance are you going to get? Not much. So what did I tell him to do? I said, you better put him on hold. I said, delay it 2 weeks. I said, I can get you up to speed in 2 weeks. Can you see why now I said delay it 2 weeks? Imagine you going into that meeting with what you knew prior to walking in here today, compared to now what you are going to be able to walk into that meeting with in 2 weeks. Do you see the difference? Night and day. Night and day. I said, put that meeting on hold. Don't go in there and blow it. Don't go in there and say what everybody says and do what everybody does. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2, competitive gateways. You'll go in and talk about disc and nerve. When they start talking about disc or nerve, first of all, you better not be. And if they do, the next words out of your mouth better be credibility statements, which are what? My medical team does that. If it's a disc injury, I send them to the neurosurgeon. If it's an extremity, I send them to an orthopedist. If it's a nerve injury, we send them to the neurologist. If it's a concussion, we send them to the neuropsychologist. We take care of the soft tissue. That's called a credibility statement. Money gained. That's the next one. You'll talk about how much money you can help them with. I just talked to a client the other day, and it was a alpha male, and the guy goes in. He didn't even have the ability to control the conversation. So the alpha male takes off, blah 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 blah, and he didn't know how to handle it. And then the alpha male basically says, oh, yeah. You guys come in here, tell us how much more money you can help us make. Well, it never happens, blah, blah, blah. Low motivator, and everybody sang it. And what did my guy say? That's what he said. I said, I can't believe you said that. How many times have I said, don't say that? That's what I say. Well, you'll see the title. I'll show you the differences in titles. I showed you one, but I'm getting ready to go to another title because like I told you, you're afraid to say negative consequences. You're afraid to offend them, and you don't understand the negative consequences is what gets the referrals. It's the pain that gets the referrals. It's not the pleasure. So the very thing you're afraid to do is what gets you the business. And when you go there and they're okay when you leave, you're getting no business. It's when they're not okay is when you get business. When they're not okay and you're the solution, that's what creates the referral. Did you understand what I just said? When they're not okay and you're the solution to them not being okay, that's what creates the business. Money gain. So money gain is a bad one. If you don't say anything about money gain, you're way better off. I'm telling you. Patient's clinical care. You'll start talking about clinical care because that's what you know. They don't care about how you can help the patient and how chiropractic is better for the patient than physical therapy or medicine. They don't care. When they care about that is when you'll start caring about how to write a legal brief. Stop talking about chiropractic and how it helps. Quality care factors, quality of care factors. Well, I know one of them, personal injury marketing companies for chiropractors, they preach to teach, increase your quality. They don't do anything about educational sales, publicity, anything like that. And when they go to the service factor, they talk about quality. The lowest reason they'll pick you is quality. I have no quality factors. I have no extra certifications, nothing. How much personal injury did I do? A ton. Why? Because I knew educational sales. Not that I got certified in how to read an MRI or a diploma in neurology. That is not what they care about. If there's no need, they don't care if you have a diploma in neurology. Again, do you care about the Ritz-Carlton and they got great quality? No. See? There's no need. And then if there is a need, where is quality? It's expected. Because you're licensed. It's expected. It's the lowest on the list. Do you understand this? Quality. Service factors. Can't go to service factors until you've established need. When you go over to the factors, what's the number one? Location. Then you can go into some of the service factors that we already talked about. But is that what's going to get the business? Service factors will not get you the business. They'll ruin the business for you. So if you don't do the service factors, you'll lose the business. But doing the service factors won't get the business for you if there's no perceived need. Is this making sense? Free stuff. Free stuff. I know doctors that'll give them tickets to a ball game, dinner, stuff like that. You cannot buy referrals. When you give them free stuff, what are you really doing? You're decreasing their respect for you. If it's based on free stuff, and a lot of chiropractors, that's what they try to do. They try to buy their way into the friendship and, take them to the ball games and take them out to dinner and all that kind of stuff. You guys have heard that before. Well, number one, it's a very weak. And guess how easy it is to lose that business? What's the only thing I have to do to get that business from you? To give them more free stuff. I just have to give them more free stuff than you're giving them. That's a no-win. That's a no-end situation. I said there's only one time you should give free stuff to an attorney. Guess when that is? Christmas. Give them a present. Otherwise, you don't be given any free stuff. You're losing respect. Don't lose respect. Marketing to attorneys out of the patient's location. I see that a lot. The doctor did not do a geographic radius of draw, psychographic barriers. He goes and starts talking to attorneys, and his patients are not even in his geographic radius of draw. You just did what? You just wasted all your time and energy.